This is my 2022 wrecked Indian Chief Dark Horse, and I know a lot of people say, Brandon, why do you keep saying that? Well, it's because there are a lot of people that are stopping in for the first time that don't know my story with this motorcycle. But I got this motorcycle from an internet auction, and in this video I'm going to talk about all the fees that are associated with getting this bike to my doorstep. But at a face value from the auction, I spent $4,550 to win this motorcycle, but that doesn't tell the story on all of the fees and also the shipping costs that it took to get this bike to my front doorstep. So we're going to talk about all that and also how much overall I'm in the hole with fixing this bike as far as the parts and repairs that I've done so far. I found this motorcycle on the insurance auto auction called Copart, and another one is called IAA. And the way that this works is that when someone files a claim and if the vehicle is totaled, the insurance company is going to pay out a lump sum of cash. If it's totaled, the insurance company is also more likely going to take ownership of the vehicle, and then they're going to take the vehicle to an auction site like Copart or IAA, and they're going to list the vehicle for sale as an auction where you bid on it, and that's going to be their way of getting some of their money back from the whole insurance claim process. And that's essentially how this bike ended up on the site Copart. I looked out there and found it, and I bidded on it. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that every vehicle you see is going to be necessarily a total, but that's essentially how this motorcycle got there. All right, let's say you found a vehicle on Copart or IAA that you wanted to buy yourself. Well, first you need to determine what your state regulations say about auto auctions, because there is some differences from state to state. In most cases, you have to be a registered dealer to bid on vehicles at an auto auction. It's not in all cases, because they do have public auctions at both Copart and IAA, but the selection is very limited and you're not going to find motorcycles like this. But in the state of Alabama, you also have to be a registered dealer to do this, but a way around this is going through a broker, which you will have to pay more for in fees, but it is a way for us as regular people to bid on wrecked and totaled motorcycles. But in my case, I used a broker called Auto Bidmaster. Before I started any of this, I did my research on Auto Bidmaster, and I do want to mention that I am not sponsored by this company. All of my own money is tied up into this. To get an account with Auto Bidmaster, you need two things. You need a bank account and you need a driver's license. And also you have to deposit money as collateral to bid on these motorcycles. So for a basic account, that's $49 a year. That gives you a maximum of $4,000 worth of buying power. So if you're outbidded at $4,050, then you lose that lot. So obviously I needed more buying power to buy this motorcycle, so I have a $150 a year account, which gives me more buying power and also discounts on shipping. So when you set up your account, you have to deposit a refundable deposit into your account as collateral to bid on the motorcycle. So in the case of $4,000 worth of buying power, that is $400 that you need outside of paying for the motorcycle to facilitate that process. So if you win, let's say at $4,000, you need $4,400 in just buying the motorcycle, winning the bid, to pay for that motorcycle, not including all the extra fees that come with it, because that $400 cannot be used to pay for the motorcycle. Going through the process with Auto Bidmaster, the final bid to win this motorcycle was $4,550. But again, that does not tell the full story on all the fees that are associated after you win the bid for the motorcycle. So after everything was said and done, shipping, all the Copart's fees, all of Auto Bidmaster's fees, gate fees, shipping, all of that, to get it in here in a wrecked state before any repairs, $6,232. That's how much it costs. So I'm in the hole over $6,000 with a motorcycle that was in this wrecked state. That's before we've done anything. So I was fully aware of that. I've done my research. I was fully aware of what this would take to get it to this point, but that is the starting base number. The truth is that not every motorcycle is going to be as bad as the one that I got, or it's nice depending on how you look at it. A lot of people have different perspectives on what I have here, but some of them may have just, messed up front suspension. They might have a messed up frame. They might have only been low-sided and just need painted parts. You just never know. But what you can do as somebody that's looking into this is just making sure you do the research and make sure you're just not getting caught off guard with like extra fees or something that you weren't expecting when it finally arrives at your doorstep. There was one small problem that I encountered that I did not expect, and that involved the shipping of this motorcycle. So the final bid for this, after the fees incurred, was around $5,900. But I found out that I had to pay an extra $392 for shipping, because when you use an auto broker, you're required to use their shipping method instead of being able to go to Copart or IAA and get it yourself. Because I was prepared to go get this motorcycle on a Saturday because the lot was only like 2.5 hours away from me. So why not go get it myself, right? I was gonna film that process for you guys, but I found out that I'm not allowed to go do that because I'm not a dealer. So I had to get the bike shipped. It was an extra $392. And instead of getting it that Saturday, I got it that Monday. And the people that delivered the bike, come to find out, we had some trouble getting the bike in the garage because if you knew that there's no shifter, there's no clutch, and we had trouble rolling the motorcycle. So we ended up jamming some pliers in the on the clutch cable, and that allowed us to roll the motorcycle in. So they helped me get it in here, and I actually tipped them $20 because I would have struggled trying to get this thing in here by myself. So I guess you could say that the grand total to get it in here was $6,252 instead of $32. But yeah, now I know. Before I bought this motorcycle, I wanted to make sure that I had a cash reserve to not only get it to the house, but also get it fixed. And if you didn't know, a bank will not finance a wrecked vehicle. Why? Because it's a liability reason. And they want to make sure that if you default on your loan, they can liquidate and get some of their money back out of it. So how did I do this? I actually found a bank that partners with Copart that finances pretty much anything, in this case, wrecked motorcycles. The bank that Copart partners with is called Lightstream. And before we go forward, I do want to say that I'm not sponsored by Lightstream either, but I do want to also mention that I do have really good credit. So unless you have at least a 750, don't expect to get the same numbers that I'm about to tell you. But I applied for this loan on a Wednesday and they deposited the money in my account on a Thursday before I even bid it on this motorcycle. And this loan is unsecured, meaning I didn't have to put up any collateral and there's no early payment. So it's a win-win. But I financed $10,000 for this motorcycle and it's at 2.49% at 48 months. And the overall finance charge is $590 over the course of those 4 years, which was crazy. It's cheaper to own this wrecked motorcycle than it is my Harley Davidson V-Rod, because I think it's at like 3.5% over 6 years. And I think the finance charge is like $700. It's freaking crazy. And what's even better is that I have the title. So I completely own this motorcycle. The bank does not own it. And if tomorrow I wanted to give them their $10,000 back with a little bit of interest that is accrued, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I could do that without any penalty. So it's completely a win-win. But the reason I'm so transparent about this is because I wanted to know how to do this for so long. And now that I do, I want to share with you guys and show that a regular person can do this. If you want to replicate this process to some degree, you can do this now that you know how to do it. So again, $6,252, including the $20 that I took my drivers to get this motorcycle in my garage. And I'm currently around $3,000 in the hole for just parts. So around $9,200, $9,500, I guess, give or take, is where we are so far into this project. And the reason I'm so transparent about this is because I want you guys to know what's involved with this. And maybe one day you might want to do this. And if you like wrenching and figuring out puzzles, which this is a challenge, this might be something that you can do in your future. At this point in time, I am on track to finishing this motorcycle very soon, but I am waiting on parts and also some parts where the tracking is not updating. In this case, my handlebars. So they were supposed to be here yesterday and the tracking hasn't updated in 4 days. So here's to hoping that they're not lost. I seriously hope this video helps somebody that's been looking to do this, or at least inspire you to maybe consider this one day, because a regular person can do this. It is not completely unattainable, and I'm showing you guys with my own skin in the game. But yeah, if you haven't seen how we got Chief to this point and you want to catch up on the series, you can click right here on the screen and it'll take you right to that video. You can see all the madness and the damage that this bike has. But as always, thanks for listening to my story, and if you're subscribed, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.